Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Beaver Sports Show. I'm Jake McGrady.
I'm Josh Warden.
And I'm Jenna Lade. Thanks for joining us tonight.
So Josh, I noticed something sparkly hanging from your neck.
Yes. Well, here's the deal. Every game before for football games, Brandon Cooks always paints his toenails the color of the opposing team, so I thought I would kind of channel that same idea, wear a purple tie before the UW game.
Where'd you get the tie?
eBay. Cost me $2.
eBay? I was going to say Forever 21 or something, but
no.
All right.
No.
So we got a lot to talk about on tonight's show, but first we're going to start out with men's soccer.
The Beavers took a hard hit last Sunday with a 1-0 loss against number 3 Washington Huskies. This also marked the goodbye game for 4 seniors, Boris Atnasov, Alex Eckerson, Josh Smith, and Daniel Van Vliet.
The Beavs held on to the possession of the ball for most of the first half, giving them a chance at the goal, but they were able to score in minutes into the second half with junior Kiri Shelton bringing the ball up to the 10-yard line, but failing at the shot attempt that was blocked by a sliding Huskies defender. The single goal was made in the 57th minute of the game, which eventually led to the Huskies' victory.
But not all was in vain during this game. Sophomore goalie Matt Bersano broke the Oregon State single-season saves record. He had 6 in that game, finishing off the season with 101 total, one more than the previous record of just at 100 set by Peter Billmeyer in 2002.
It was a great day for Beaver basketball fans when OSU Beavers took on Maryland and swept them 90-83. 14,772 fans, including President Barack Obama and the First Family, were in attendance. This was the first ever win over an ACC team on the road in Oregon State's school history.
Devon Collier had a great game, posting his career high of 29 points, 18 of which of those points came in the second half alone. He pulled down about 11 rebounds, which was a game second straight double-double for him, which contributed to the first 11 points and 2 rebounds over the first 20 minutes of the game, proving himself to be a force to be reckoned with this season.
Senior Roberto Nelson also had an impressive show, finishing the game with 31 points, 7 assists, and 3 rebounds. Also, OSU shot 63% from behind the arc and 60% from the field, and in the points off turnovers margin, they led Maryland 29-14.
The Beavers held an impressive lead throughout the entire game, giving Maryland the slightest bit of hope with some close scores throughout. But the Beavers held on to the lead, pushing through with a 12-point lead with only 13 minutes remaining in the final half.
What do you guys think of this game? Huge game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big win on the road, beating Maryland at their house in the Comcast Center. They hadn't lost in 30 consecutive non-conference home games. They hadn't lost since December of 2009.
That's crazy.
Let's just say it was not expected.
Yeah.
No.
I think it was a big comeback win. I mean, they had that opening loss to Coppin State. Then they beat a Portland team who ended up actually leading #1 team Michigan State for a little bit in that game. And then they go into Maryland, beat an ACC team. It brings a lot of credibility to a program where, I mean, there was a lot of disappointment after the opening loss, but
production was finally spread out. It wasn't as lopsided as it was against Coppin State. Devon had the huge game. Roberto's always stepping up, like putting up 30 points again.
Yeah.
They both did really good. Like combined, they had 60 points.
Yeah,
Devon, that was his second straight double-double. They both did really good. Their shots were amazing, so I thought they did a really great job.
So you can watch the Beavers take on SIU Edwardsville on November 26th at 8 p.m. right here at Gill Coliseum in the 4th annual Nike N7 game.
It was a bittersweet senior night for the OSU women's volleyball team, who took on number 6 Stanford Saturday night and took a dive with a 0-3 match loss. What makes this game so bittersweet is the outstanding performance of the team's sole senior, Becky Defoe, who picked up 20 digs in her final career match at Oregon State.
The scores for the first 3 rounds concluded to 22-25, 23-25, and 20-25. Defoe's 20 digs racked her up a total of 449 on the season, which ranks her 6th among most of OSU's on the season. She already had a total of 1,967 digs to date to her overall career high, which means she'll have to average about 8.3 digs over the last 4 games of the season to make her total goal of 2,000 digs. And if she can do this, She'll be the first ever to reach this number in Pac-12 conference history.
As for the rest of the team, the Beavers hit 198 for the match against Stanford's 211 clip. Both teams combined for 103 digs and 11 blocks, but Stanford recorded 9 service aces to Oregon State's 3. Total, the teams met with 21 tie scores throughout. This was also Oregon State's last home game of the season. They'll go to the road for their last 4 matches, beginning with a 4 p.m. start at Colorado on Friday, which will be telecast on the Pac-12 networks.
Mike Hass and Marcus Wheaton once held the record for receptions in a single season, but Brandon Cooks intercepted the title, grabbing it with OSU's away game against Arizona State last Saturday. But even his total of 9 catches during the game wasn't enough to stave off ASU, who pulled off a win of 30-17.
So what do you guys think of the game?
I think there were some offensive highlights in that one. I mean, Brandon Cooks had 9 catches, almost 100 yards. Connor Hamlet had 9 catches and
huge
a touchdown.
Production from the tight ends in that game.
Yeah,
right.
But Oregon State got down early. They were down
Yeah.
14-0 at the first quarter, just like against USC. I think there were some positives, but yeah, it was a tough game down in the desert.
Yeah, there's always stuff you can take away from games like that, but yeah, definitely tough loss in Tempe. But so after that type of loss, what do you guys think? This Saturday's game against UW?
The Huskies are a talented team. I mean, they got a really good secondary. Their quarterback situation was a little bit tricky because Keith Price is injured. They haven't said whether or not he's going to play yet, but their back is pretty good, Tyler Miles, so I don't know how that will affect the game necessarily, but that'll be one thing to look for in that one. As far as, I mean, Brandon Cooks, I don't know if we have any predictions for offense, but I mean, if Sean Mannion can stay up in the pocket, I don't know.
Yeah. Are you predicting high scoring, defensive battle? What do you think? Keith Price is going to play a big factor. Do you think that's sort of a mind game that he's playing? What do you think his status is going to be? I don't know.
Well, 2 years ago in research, Price was injured, but they ended up starting Nick Montana. It was his first start of his career.
Yeah.
Similar to if Tyler Miles starts for UW, it'll be his first start of his career. Price ended up coming into that game as a backup and almost led the comeback. Beaver still held on for victory, and the Washington head coach Steve Sarkisian even has said they might consider Keith Price as a backup option. So, I mean, we'll see. You can't really tell until game time, but they're both good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Right. I definitely think that, I mean, it's been really hard, but I think OSU is going to pull through for this one, and I think they're going to win the game.
Score prediction?
I'm going to say 31-25.
31-25?
In favor of
Oregon State.
All right.
Of course.
All right.
Of course.
Of course.
Jake?
Yep. Final score prediction. I'm going to go high scoring on this one. I'm going to go 28-21. I'm actually going to keep it low scoring on this one.
No scoring.
I'm feeling a lower
Josh?
scoring game.
I think both teams have really good defenses. Both teams have good secondaries, front sevens. I could see it, getting a high, first quarter. UW is really good offensively in the third quarter. Actually, out of their 10 games, the Huskies have scored 9 times on their first drive of the second half.
They end out the games crazy.
Yeah, and Oregon State has some sparks. I mean, good numbers last week. Only had 17 points. I see this being a little high scoring, maybe something like 42-35. I see the Beavers taking
Fourth quarter finish is going to be key in this game.
Yeah.
Completely.
A couple of overtime finishes in this history last couple of years, so we could see that coming down to the wire also.
Definitely.
All right, well, we are going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we will have OSU football's Teron Ward and Sean Martin live with us in studio. Stick around. here with us. Guys, it's senior night, last home game of the season. Sean, you're a senior. Teron, you're a junior. For Sean, you specifically, what does it kind of mean for this to be the last game in Research Stadium you're going to play?
Well, it really hasn't hit me yet. Like, playing at Oregon State for these past 5 years has just gone by really fast. And to think this is my last game at Oregon State is just surreal to me. And I don't think I really fully understand, like, that's my last game until, like, we get on the field.
Yeah. Teron?
I'm only a junior, so I have one more year, but to see Sean go off and other seniors, hopefully get the W and send them off right.
I like it. Now, I mean, the 2012 game in Seattle was a tough one for Oregon State, a 3-point loss after Oregon State had that 6-game winning streak. Is this kind of a case of revenge? I mean, and obviously you're looking in every game is looking for the W, but does this one mean a little bit more than other games?
Yeah, I feel like for our team, like, we got the rivals in the Pac-12, but for us, like, UW, Oregon are especially, like, the Northwest teams that are, like, they're our big rivals. And losing to them last year definitely left a sting in us because we were, like, what, number 7 in the nation at the time. And losing that game really hurt, so this is a big revenge game for us.
No, I know, I mean, the UW game might be the biggest rivalry outside of the Civil War. Scott Crichton is from Tacoma. I think he even said he burned all of his Washington gear. I don't know if you know any players from the Husky teams, but do you see this as, I mean, pretty big rivalry?
Oh, it's a big rivalry. UW, Oregon State is always big. They have that shirt, the good, the bad, the ugly. So this is definitely going to be a big game for us, and we're going to come out with the W.
Now, offensively for the Huskies, I mean, you're a cornerback, Sean. They got a really good running back in Bishop Sankey, averages 140 yards a game. How does the defense stop a guy like that?
Well, we just got to, put our focus on that. We got to make it a one-dimensional game like Coach Banker always tells us. So we just got to focus on stopping the run and make it a passing game. And then if we can do that, we have a good chance of winning the game.
Now for you, Teron, a little bit better in the running game this past couple of weeks. I mean, that was kind of something that didn't work necessarily in the first couple of games, but you've been running pretty hard the last couple of games. Do you think that's going to continue against the Huskies on Saturday?
I think the more production we get out of the running game, the more we're running. If we're not producing, not going to run the ball, they're going to keep it to the throw because we're producing there. But I feel like the last couple of games we've been producing pretty well. The carries we got, we made something with it. So hopefully this Saturday we come out and establish the run and make the defense respect that. So we'll see.
Now, Sean, I want to ask you this specifically. I asked a couple other guys in the secondary this. Ty Zimmerman, who's a safety, is the only guy in the secondary who doesn't have an interception yet. Do you razz him a little bit about that?
Every day. We talk about it every day. Like, in practice, if he gets an interception, like, the whole defense will give him, like, a little petty golf clap. And we'll always talk about it. But I hope he gets a pick next week because we need it, and I know he can do it for us.
Yeah. I know Jabrell Johnson also is from Lawton, just like him. He got a pick against ASU. You had a couple interceptions, that pick six against Utah. So, hopefully Ty gets 3 against the Huskies. But I like that. Now, I mean, looking at Washington specifically, they got a couple of big athletes. For Sean, I mean, if you see Austin Safarian-Jenkins coming down one of their tight ends, he's 6'6", 276. I mean, you've experienced Pac-12 defensive before, but you see a guy coming down on you on a block. What's going through your mind as you see that guy coming down on you?
Get low. Yeah, because I got some plays and, like, packages where I have to come through the crack and have to go and guard him. So I guess I just got to come low and hopefully just sustain the block.
Now, Teron, I mean, I don't know how much film you've seen of UW specifically. They got a couple of big DNs, whether it's you blocking for Mannion, breaking through the line. I mean, you can't be scared, right?
No, never could be scared. I think I said that in the interview earlier this year. But, no, they have some a good defensive front, a good defensive line, and they bring some heavy defensive blitzes and heavy coverage blitzes. So just got to be on the P's and Q's and how everything can cap on. I think we'll be okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I'm looking forward to that game on Saturday. That's all the time we have for tonight. I'm Josh Warden. Have a great evening.